Welcome to the Geek Bag. I'm Sabrina Scheller.
And I'm Chris Frangu.
Firstly, we'd like to thank you for all your support and encouragement since the last episode last week. It is so good to know that you guys are enjoying watching the show as much as we did making it.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know what you think it means, but I'm pretty sure you suck and get off our television is not any form of positive encouragement.
Look, you win some, you lose some. Does it really matter?
Well, however you like to see it, we're back this week, and this week we're going to be having a look at another installment of the bases for up to the budget of $900. Last week we had a look at Mexican Fender Standard Jazz Bass, and this time we're going to be looking at some second-hand ones. Also, Sabrina's going to be doing some live processing, and there's going to be a really cool interview with vocalist Tom Barton.
That looks actually like a really good show to me.
It does, doesn't it?
Let's have a look.
There you go. As I said in last week's episode, musicians don't have the greatest budget in the world. So I decided to go out and look at what basses you can get for the maximum budget of $900. Last week I checked out the Fender Standard Jazz Bass, which is made in Mexico and has all these cool features. It's a really cool bass to get when you're in that market. So this week I'm going to be having a look at what you can buy second-hand for a similar amount of money.
Normally, when you're looking at buying second-hand instruments off the internet, you spend countless hours online checking out web pages, you're looking at photos, and normally you also find overly exaggerated descriptions of all these instruments.
Like the time that I saw a really average-looking Stratocaster, and it's like, this is a Fender Stratocaster from the 60s. Hendrix played this at Woodstock, sort of thing.
I'm sure I've read that one so often. Anyhow, you're going to place your bid on a product that you've never held in your hands. You're going to wait, you're going to hold your breath, hoping that the person on the other end, who you've never met in your life, is actually going to sell this amazing guitar for the lousy $800 that you bid for it.
Yeah, and then when it rocks up, it was built in the mid-80s by some guy who was named Hendrix, but he was from Footscray, and it's built out of a piece of railway timber. And
look, well, we really don't want our viewers to have that experience, so we'll see what Chris did to get his second-hand bass.
So the Music Swap Shop is a second-hand music store. It sells instruments on consignment and has been around for about 20 years. And it's a pretty big place. So let's have a look inside. Look around. And because there's so much gear, I don't think I'll have a hard time finding a bass for around $800. Here we have a Fender JP90. This was made in 1990 in the USA. It's got a bit of a sharper jazz bass body, so with sharper horns and sharper edges. It's as similar as I could find in this price range to the jazz bass we've already reviewed, but for second hand it's made in the US as opposed to the Mexican one. For the pickups, it's got a single coil jazz bass style pickup for the bridge position and a split pole precision bass pickup for the neck position. It's also got a very slim jazz bass neck and a light headstock, which reduces a bit of the neck drop. You have to remember, when buying a second-hand instrument, it is a second-hand instrument and someone has played it before you. Some things important to consider when looking at a second-hand bass is whether the neck's in good condition, because that's generally where a lot of the playability comes from. Where make sure there's not a twist in the neck. You can tell that by just having a look down the fretboard. You also have to look for cracks in the neck, especially near the headstock, because sometimes they can be dropped and then it can create a couple cracks. Also near the neck joint. That depends if it's a bolt-on neck or a neck through or set-in neck base. Generally, you'll find that there are some blemishes and different cracked finishes and stuff, or wear marks, but that generally won't affect the tone at all. An electric bass is first and foremost an acoustic instrument, so playing it acoustically, you'll hear how the instrument resonates, and you'll also be able to tell whether or not there are any buzzes or rattles in the neck, which may be because the frets are uneven and need address. So after playing your bass acoustically, it's definitely important to plug it through an amp, especially to check out the electronics and see if all of that is in good working order. When setting an amp to play and test a bass, it's good to have everything pretty flat, because then you can hear all the tonal characteristics of the bass. Alright, so first of all, you have to sort of work out what different controls on the instrument do. So in this case, we've got one volume, which controls the overall volume of the instrument, as you can see, and an overall tone. This switch is only a two-way switch, which selects between the bridge pickup and the neck pickup. And it's sort of backwards, actually, to be honest. So when it's pointing backwards, it's actually running the neck pickup. You can hear from the fatter sound, which is almost like a precision bass. Good thing to keep in mind is any noisy switches or pots. So in this case, and make sure nothing cuts out either. Sometimes that can be fixed by using a bit of contact cleaner, but sometimes they're beyond repair and they need to be replaced. Okay, so let's set it up on the bridge pickup, which is that switch pointing forward for some reason, and the tone rolled off. For this bass in particular, it's got not bad playability. Like, it probably needs a bit of a setup because the action's a bit high for my liking, and the pickups need a bit of work, maybe an earthing on that single core pickup, and definitely intonation checked. But apart from that, it's worth $7.95, so I guess it's a competitor to the standard jazz bass.